This is Benji from Product Support Services, and this is a demonstration of the SBO offline activation tool. Usually, the licenses for a smart structure building operation are activated through the building operation license administrator. However, when the PC is not connected to the internet, it's not possible to communicate directly with the activation server, and so a manual activation is needed. The process depends on various steps, and it can be quite complicated the first time it's carried out. In the instruction and help menu in the tool, you will first of all find a graphical flowchart, which shows step by step what the flow in the offline activation is, and you will also find a more elaborate help and guidance you can refer to. So the first thing we have to do is that we need to get our activation ID from our entitlement ID. This is done by going to the website licensing.tac.com. Select with entitlement in the login part here and enter the entitlement. Now go to Manage Entitlements and see that there is an activation ID here to the left. You should note all the different activation IDs you have if there's more than one. Also note how many copies are left in this area here. So basically click the activation ID and you can copy it from this part here. This is all carried out on the online PC. So now we need to go to the offline PC. We enter the activation ID, enter your organization, sales contact name, sales contact email, select the type of project you're working on, the project type here, and now select how many copies you want to activate. As you remember, there were 2 and I want to activate 2, so I write 2 here. This is the request file, the request part of the tool. So that concludes the request part. I click generate. This will now save the request file on my desktop. I will name it request in the end so I know. And now I get this dialog, and this is very important. It says the license server needs to be configured. Please proceed with the activation process for the file just generated in order to configure the trusted storage. And as you can see, this is actually not an activation we are doing now, we are doing a configuration of the server. This is because it's the first time I am activating a license on this PC. After passing this request file, I'll no longer need to do that again. So it's only the first time. Click OK. And now I go to the online PC. And here on the online PC, I go to Manual Activation. I browse to the request file I just created before. Click Open. And I submit. I now save the response file on my desktop. I copy that and go back to the offline PC. Here in the offline part, I shall now process the response file. So again, I find my response file here, open it, and click Process. And I will get this message, and again it says here config response file processed. It says the server config response file was processed successfully and now I should repeat the complete process for this activation ID. So I click OK. And leaving all this information here, I just click generate once more. Again, save it. This time I'll call it request 2 and click save. And as you can see now, I didn't get any dialog this time. This means that it's a proper license activation request. So I go back to the online PC, go back to manage entitlements, manual activation. I browse my second request file here and click submit and save that one to file. And I will save it as response 2. And now go back. So now back on the offline PC, I browse to the second response file, open that and process it. And as you can see now, the response file was processed successfully. Now I have to go and restart my license server. So I'll find it here, I'll stop it, start it. And now when I open the license administrator, I can see that my Struxureware workstation has been activated with the quantity of 2. If you get the following error while processing a file, it's either because you're processing a file that has already been processed, or it's because you are processing a request file, as you can see here. So it's very important that you keep track of the various request and response files in the process. So that concludes the demonstration of the offline activation tool.